1.
Let's go.
Nice. We're back. 2026. James and Kanishk, we're back. Let's go.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Kanish.
Happy New Year, sir. Happy New Year. Um, there's a lot to unpack in this new year.
Mm,
For like across and even like how we've been planning on doing things this year. Um, and of course, the biggest thing that we want to talk about today is the death of InfoFi, which I know you are very excited for.
yeah,
Extremely excited for.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, before we kick off, for this new year, um, when a new year starts, do you do like new year resolutions, stuff like that?
Yeah. It's I used to do resolutions. I
Hmm.
I don't anymore. But I do kind of like set an intention for the year.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't do New Year's resolutions is because the statistics show that if you wait until the new year to start working on a goal, you're just not going to meet that goal.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's more of like a continuation of the goals that are constantly goals in my life, like living a more healthy lifestyle, being more active, like all of those things. And I do set some like tangible goals. I have different weightlifting goals, different running goals, different all
Yeah.
that stuff. But more of like setting intentions is where I lean. What about you?
I like that. I set one last year, which was that I just want to find a routine for gym. And that was literally it.
Mm,
I had gotten so
mhm.
unfit. I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, ew. I don't like looking at me and go ew. So the only goal was to not like be the strongest can ever get or whatever. It's just to find a
Yeah,
system that works and I can stick to it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I I realized if I set like a monetary goal, I want to make this much money in a year. Eh, if I hit it, the second I hit it, the motivation goes away so quickly.
yeah,
And in case I don't, the panic is going to be insane. And
yeah.
markets are super volatile, which is what a
Yes,
part of my income
yes,
will
yes,
depend on.
yes,
So that was, but yeah, kind of similar to yours. Some
yeah,
goals, but nothing like
yes.
I'll only do this on 1st January. No, nothing like that.
No. I like that. I like that a lot. And by the way, Kanish, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how much you weigh. When you look in the mirror, you shouldn't say you. You should be proud of who you
Just
are because you are worth loving and celebrating regardless of your workout goals.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I was like, I tried to be athletic all my life. And in
Yeah.
the last 2 years before I started at a cross, I was just, Five Guys and me, we have a love relationship. I was going on town on those cheeseburgers. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I love that,
So
man. I love
that
that.
was that. But sweet.
Cool.
I already see people joining in. I already
Yeah.
see people talking and reposting the stream. Thank you so much to our friendly
Love it.
ambassadors and everybody who's tuning in. I think it's time we kick it off. We kick it off.
Let's
So
do it.
InfoFi is dead. And I think everybody on crypto Twitter is rejoicing right now because we finally get rid of AI slop and all
Yeah.
the bullshit comments that we used to get that
Yeah.
we don't want to reply to, and it would only flag our accounts as spammy, um,
Hmm.
which would kick down engagement in the longer run.
Yeah.
So what happened is actually really good, and we're all really happy and excited about it. But even before I jump into Kaido, Cookie, and all of that, I want to dial things back a little bit and ask you that before Kaido, InfoFi, airdrop campaigns like that were even a thing, how
Yeah.
would people build these communities? Like, what would be an incentive for me as a user or just as a human being
Yeah.
on Earth to write about your protocol, to talk about it on Twitter, knowing that I probably am not even in touch with you and then just doing it out of the goodness of my heart? Is that the only
Yeah.
incentive? But what's your
Yeah.
opinion on this?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the way that you answer this question is probably a good indicator for like when you joined the crypto space at large. And so if you look back into like early DeFi days, um, what community meant back then was sort of like a group of insiders. Like you were a group of people who are typically early adopters to new technologies, early experimenters. Crypto wasn't probably the first time that you were the early users. You were probably an early user of other technologies in your past, and it became almost like this like insider, and I don't love the insider word, or cabal, or I don't know. There's so many of these words that we throw around, but it became like a close community of people that you built a reputation and trust with, and really around the single goal of making some money. And
Yeah.
I think that's okay. Look at the kind of continued permutations of crypto. A lot of folks listening right now, and those who are in this space actively right now, probably joined the space around the NFT boom. And we're talking 2020, 21, a little bit of 22, maybe not as much 23 and 24. Um,
Yeah.
and when I think about the NFT boom, what drove community and people to be active participants, I think is actually a little bit more close to what the term community actually means. And so I'm ranting. I'm going to ramble a lot during this call because I have a lot of feelings and a lot of things to say about InfoFi. But going back to like the very root, like what is community? Community at its core has existed for as long as humanity has existed. And it's a group of people who gather around a common interest. That's it. It's quite that simple. It could be as superficial as every Thursday night you go to the YMCA and you play basketball with the same group of people. And the common interest is you play basketball. All the way to like as in depth and serious as a group of people who gather around a religion. And
Mm.
it's now like, it's not just a hobby, but it's something that is a weekly or multi days a week kind of
Yeah.
practice, and it influences your beliefs, it changes your morals, it impacts like the way that you live. And I think during the NFT kind of boom, crypto was closer to the religion side of community than it was the basketball side of
Yeah.
community, right? Like these were folks that we saw. I would use the word like tribalism, like this. We represent bored apes. We represent pudgy penguins. We
Yeah.
are maybe not at war with each other, but we are certainly different. And if push
Mm.
comes to shove, we would go to war with other
Yeah.
communities. Like it becomes your identity so much so that you were wearing the PFP and you're
Yeah.
changing your username or your bio. You would flex what number NFT token you had. You would
Yeah.
anytime you bought or sold, it became a statement of your belief. And certain holders, if their wallet sold an NFT, it could literally trigger a like complete downfall of that community, because it would be a
Yeah.
signal that said, oh no, Kanishk doesn't believe in this project anymore. And then
Yeah.
now the sell off happens because everyone else says if Kanishk doesn't believe in it, we don't believe in it
We
either.
don't really- Yeah.
That I think that version of community was what sparked like this. And I'm using religious kind of language a lot here, but it's like this evangelism that
Yeah.
happened, where if you were a bored ape, you talked like a bored ape,
Yeah.
and you convinced other people that they should think about becoming a bored ape.
True.
And so it was less about, yes, there was still the financial speculation side,
Yeah.
especially as we got into 2021, like
Yeah.
when bored apes were six figures, some selling for seven figures, like that boom did attract people for the financial reason, but that community existed before the financial reason was that intense.
True.
Um, and so when you believe in something so much that you let it become part of your identity, it changes your visual appearance. You are now wearing the uniform of this tribe that you're part of. You are now spending so much of your time and energy hanging out with other people who also wear the same uniform, who are part of this community, who use the same language, naturally, when you put so much of your belief and identity into something, you can't help but talk about it. And so people very organically would talk about these projects, maybe with a slight hint of, we're trying to get the token to go up, we're trying to get the NFT price to go up, we want to make money. But I think probably, I would argue, actually, especially in the height of the NFT boom,
Yeah.
it came from deep belief, and people really did. They were trying to convince others to join them because they believed in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's maybe the answer to the question is, communities used to contribute to a micro ecosystem out of belief
Yeah.
rather than out of incentive.
Just to do. Yeah. It used to be like this is the cool kids club, and I see this all around the social media that I am a part of. And
Yeah.
how do I get to be a part of it? I feel
Yeah.
flipping was always a part of the culture, flipping the
Yeah.
NFT and flipping the token or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think even from a personal standpoint, I just wanted to be in touch with the people who are running this project because looks like they're doing something fun. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the ones that are existing even now. So Bored Apes made this thing called Zoo House, and they have
Mhm.
these Zoo houses in certain destinations around
Mhm.
the world. There's one in
Mhm.
Bangalore, there's one in Dubai, there's one in SF, and you can
Mhm.
just go and hang out there if you have this NFT. So basically, you're part of the club, and
Yeah.
this, as you mentioned, this religion of yours that you so love and follow.
Yeah.
Here's like some form of utility that you get
Yes.
out of it, right?
Yeah.
Um, but on this, so in your answer, there are a few threads that I want to pull. The
Let's
first
do
one, you please get spicy here,
it.
is
Okay.
that do you like or do you support NFT PFPs in 2026? Is that still the
Oh,
vibe?
fuck no. No, absolutely not. Um, Let me ask you a question, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's say you post, we'll share a clip from this, maybe
Yeah.
later this week or something.
Mm-hmm.
And someone replies to you in the comments, and the PFP is a mutant ape.
Yeah.
What do you feel? Do you feel like that's a real
Oh,
person talking to you, or some scammer or bot?
that's exactly where my mind goes. I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna lie to you because
Yeah.
I'll just be like, first of all, Bored Ape in 2026, come on, grow up.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the second
Yeah.
thing will be like, I've never been able to verify whether this person who has this Bored Ape as their PFP actually owns this Bored Ape or not. Because
Mhm.
right click, save the NFT, now it's mine,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
many people do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so
and
yeah,
long
that's
gone are the days when, like, Twitter, the hexagon PFP that
yeah,
showed,
yeah, yeah,
like, no, this person connected their wallet. This is a verified holder of this NFT.
yeah.
Um,
Good old days
it's
that never deleted.
Yeah, yeah, no, genuinely, they were good old days. I do. I think a lot of folks miss those days, but I think the energy. I want to say this in a way that's clippable because I think it's
Okay.
it's worthy of a clip. If you are still wearing an NFT as your profile picture, you are giving the same energy as Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite, who can't stop talking about his senior year playing football in high school, but you're a 45-year-old man now. The good old days were good old days. They
Yeah.
were good, but we've moved on. Change your PFP. Be a human.
I also feel we on crypto Twitter talk a lot about institutions coming on chain. Which CEO or president of a big institution wears a PFP as their badge? You know,
Some, very, very few, very
very few.
few. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there are exceptions, right? There are exceptions. I'm speaking in polarizing terms for sure.
Mhm.
I I think there are exceptions, but very few.
Very few. Yeah.
Very few.
I like how somebody in the comments just said bored miladies are the exception. Sure, sure, sure. Ethereum loves miladies. I'm a part of the cult too. But if it comes to like putting my own photo or a milady, I'd just put my own face out there. I think it builds credibility in a way. But that's just what I feel. Great.
The other, I'll just
Mhm.
add this punctuation here because it's worthwhile. When you build your brand utilizing someone else's image,
Yeah.
what you are doing is relinquishing some of the control that you have over the quality of your own personal brand. We saw this happen countless times in the NFT boom. Let's say you were uh, Clonex is a great example. Clonex, tons of hype, tons of collaborations, lots of real exciting moments, and a lot of people built their personal brands wearing their Clonex PFPs. And then what happened? Clonex, I don't know if they even exist anymore. I doubt they're paying their IPFS bills. Like they're probably like you probably can't even load the images on OpenSea. I don't know, maybe you can. But if that was where you built your reputation, and then their actions as a team, their
Yeah.
choices as a team make it so that that image is no longer reputable, that
Mhm.
hurts all of the work that you did.
Yeah.
That's why I've worn English. It's why I've worn my personal face as my PFP for a long time. And I have some PFPs. I own a crypto coven. I still own Dead Fellas, like some of these communities that were so fun back in the day.
Yeah.
Um, and every now and then I'll throw it up as my PFP for a day or two, just for old time's sake, but
Yeah.
never to build my brand.
I feel that. Because we see this happening a lot, especially with rugging projects. Like,
Mm,
I don't know if it's just me now, but when a project comes on my timeline, it's very easy for me to tell they will rug.
yeah,
I can just spot it, and then
yeah,
I see 100 ambassadors that they have all repping that
mm,
particular, I don't know, the style of the PFP or even making content about it, and I'm just like, guys, don't you see what's happening out here? I
yeah,
mean, for $10 or $20, whatever they'll get you, are you sure you want to like let go of your entire credibility? Because now, whenever you'll make a new piece of content, a video, a tweet, whatever, I'll just scroll past. Hell, I
yeah,
might even report it for spam.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's how my mind works now, especially when I know, oh, this project is gonna rug for sure. And we've
yeah.
seen this countless times. I don't want to take names here, but I mean, every quarter we see these wash projects and then they just go away.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that happens a
Mm,
lot.
mm,
Um, which kind of segues me into the next thing that I want to ask you, which is that Kaido was not just Kaido was important for two reasons. First, a company that wants to gain mindshare and wants to establish themselves in the crypto ecosystem can now tangibly see the data that hey, people are actually talking about us. And at Risk Labs, also the way you've run the marketing engine, it's very data oriented. If we don't track something, it's very hard for us to grow on that particular vertical. So
yeah,
that's something where Kaito, I think, was somewhat of a tool that gave companies and projects and tools something to work out of. Because otherwise,
yeah,
what do we have? Hashtags?
yeah,
Ew.
yeah,
But then on the other side, we had people running AI bots using ChatGPT to make slop content, not even
mhm,
reading anything about the project and just putting bullshit out there.
yeah,
So
yeah,
how do you feel about this? Did you ever consider running a Kaido campaign for a cross? Did that ever cross
mm,
your mind?
mm,
And as a marketer, how do you look at this problem to gain mind share but remove slop? How do you grow tangibly here?
yeah, yeah. I think to answer that question, we have to understand the history of Kaido a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, Kaido did not start as a Yaps campaign business. They started by offering a real tool, a tool that we used at Across and UMA for quite some time. The tool was measuring this term mindshare. It's a term that has lost all meaning today, but back then it used to mean an authentic measurement of engagement around a specific topic. And it was simply a marketing service. It was a tool or a marketing product, a tool that we would use. You could log in and you could search our token, or you could search a competitor's token. You could search various topics or keywords like interoperability or DeFi or NFTs, and it would give you a top 20 view of who are the biggest voices talking about these topics. And it would also rank these topics in competition to other topics that were similar. This was a very valuable tool for a marketer because for so long, we had a hard time of quantifying vibes. Like the vibes feel good, but what does that translate to in data? And if you're a marketer listening to this and you're not thinking about data, don't be a marketer. Just move on to something else. You need to think about data because the data verifies your vibes. It verifies your gut feeling. Then a short time later, and we all saw this coming, the marketers in the space, you see the opportunity that they're building toward. They launch Yaps. And now what they've done is they've taken something that measures mindshare, and then they launch something that manipulates mindshare. That distinction was the beginning of the end of Kaido. Kaido had an incredible business model where they gave you a tool to measure mindshare and to understand the organic conversation around all of these topics. That tool, I think they could have scaled to $1 billion business someday. Like that was so valuable. They decided to, however, sell themselves short. And instead of continuing to offer up and give access to the organic data of mindshare, they decided to launch Yaps. They launched their Kaido token, and they took the easy way out of saying, oh, we can charge any company, any protocol, any project in this space $100,000. And this is true. This is their baseline number, 100K. Now you can run a campaign on Kaido. That's the entry fee. That's the door fee. You can't even enter the club without paying 100K. Then users would be incentivized based on how much you would allocate toward the Kaido kind of airdrop system. And so if we were launching the K and J token, and this is our L2 that we're building on Optimism, because why not? Let's just build an OP stack chain.
Let's do it. Yep.
And we want people to talk about the upcoming launch of KJ L2 and the token. We would say, let's allocate 50% of the token supply to the community. And a portion of that we will specifically allocate toward people who talk about our project. Now what you have is, instead of people who know Kanishk and know James and know the tech stack of what we're building and why we're building it and what makes this L2 valuable, why this is a differentiator for us, why we have product market fit, why people should build on our chain, you have people who simply say, I believe in KJ token and this new L2 because I might make $100. And they will talk about it. And you see the same like 10 to 15 accounts, these influencers, these major, and I won't name drop because some folks, I think they did it with good intentions, but they essentially just cut the legs out from under this complete ecosystem of crypto Twitter by selling their kind of platform, by selling the influence that they carry, by selling the trust that they've built up over the years. They negatively impacted the space in a way that is irreparable. I don't think we'll ever go back to what it was before. And those same top 10 or 15 people made a whole lot of money on a lot of airdrops in the time of InfoFi. Everyone below that, maybe they made some money, maybe not, that's fine, but they're gone. And I guarantee you, very few people who were part of these yapping campaigns to try to earn these airdrops from KJ, L2, or whatever other launches that these projects did. Very few of them hold those tokens today. I would argue probably very few of them held those tokens for more than 24 hours. The moment they got their airdrop, they dumped them because the whole intention for them was, I am making money. So we did like this intense bastardization of what community means. Community, which meant belief. You believe so much so that you change your appearance, you invest your dollars, your time, your words, your energy, you become evangelists of this project.
Right.
And then someone walks along and says, I'll give you $100. If you do that same thing,
Yeah.
make it look like you believe in me and come over here and do it for me. Instead of doing it because I believe in the project, I'm doing it now because I can make $100. And that model, the degradation of trust happens so quickly.
Right.
That we saw massive accounts who had built incredible reputations, people who we would look to as industry leaders today, but instead we look at them and we say, that's slop. I can't trust you. I don't believe it.
Yeah. Because we could visibly see them jump from one project to the other as soon as the airdrop campaign or something like that would get announced. And I'd just be like,
The blockchain is immutable. We see your wallet. We can look at the transactions. We know that from the time you got KJ token to the time you dumped KJ token was 13 minutes. Like we know, we can see it. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think there's a bunch of threads that I want to pull here. So you mentioned that as somebody who's passionate about a particular project, I'll go back to like chain ecosystems that have found PMF in a way. My favorite one by far has been Arbitrum because they've tried gaming, they've tried RWAs, but they've gotten Hyperliquid, which is, as you know, one of our favorite ecosystems as well at Across, right? So people still talk about Hyperliquid as a protocol or as a chain that they trust, they want to use, and they have actual real money on it, not 10, $20. I'm talking thousands of dollars. So when somebody today comes to me and I randomly see a bull post on Arbitrum, I'd be like, okay, cool. This person sounds nice because I haven't seen an Arbitrum campaign in a while. So whatever is being talked about here is being talked about from a place of just due diligence, research, and somebody being happy with it. And now I'll talk. I don't want to take a name, but now there are like 200 chains that have just existed for the purpose of doing an airdrop and then vanishing off into thin air. So what I want to pull on here is that when you say a certain project is something I'm passionate about, what is that, or where does that passion even come from? Because I look at a chain ecosystem, there are products in the chain ecosystem. The chain will do an airdrop, the products will do an airdrop, everybody does an airdrop. Airdrops is a big part of our culture here. But how do you define passion here? Something that should stop me from selling my account off for $100 is the first thing that comes to my mind. But I'd love to, learn from you here a little bit more.
Do you mean like what I think people should do or what I personally do? I guess they overlap quite a bit.
Okay, then let's talk about what people should do.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. If you remove crypto from it, and we go back to the example of religion, how do you pick a religion? Well, oftentimes it's handed down to you. It comes from like family tradition. It gets handed down. But then maybe when you have your coming of age moment and you're now 18, 19, maybe in your 20s, and you find that religion isn't actually what resonates with you. Maybe you leave religion altogether. How do you come to that decision? Is it because someone comes up to you after a church service and says, hey, I'm going to give you $1,000. Don't ever come back here again. No, it comes from deep belief. It comes from life experiences. It comes from what you can tangibly experience within the context of making a great life decision. In the same way, like, how do you pick what sports teams you want to follow? And this is something that is global. Some of it is passed down to you. Your family is a Manchester United family, and you will always be Manchester United because your family was. And if you ever leave that, your family will disown you, even if you secretly maybe are a Liverpool fan, right? Like it's just like you would never do that.
Yeah.
that level of depth and belief comes from something. And then if you are to change your belief, why
Mhm.
do you do it? Well, maybe you like the owner of the team or the coach, or there's a
Mm.
specific player that actually, it wasn't about Manchester United, it was about this player. And now they
Yeah.
actually play for someone else, and your belief has shifted, your the thing that made you excited about what that team offered has
Yeah.
left.
Mm.
And so when I then now go back to crypto,
Yeah.
for myself personally, the way that I select projects that I kind of become religious about, I look at what are the core tenets of what they are doing? What are they building? What do they offer?
Yeah.
Um, I think too many people in this industry have picked their religion based on how much money they can get from the church.
Yeah.
They have picked their sports teams based on how much money they might win on placing bets. My personal choice for the sports teams that I follow, for my own spiritual journey, and also for crypto, I look at the impact that these projects are making. And I say, are they building something that is long lasting, that is positively impacting not just the crypto space, but maybe the world at large?
Mm.
I go back to my roots of why I joined crypto in the first place, and
Yeah.
joined Web3 in the first place. I think about the impact of what decentralized finance could mean for the world if we were to really truly adopt it in the way it was intended.
Yeah.
I think about the way that I hate transferring money between international bank accounts because it takes forever, it's clumsy, they take a huge fee. And I look at what a global finance solution could do to solve a big pain point for the world.
Yeah.
And then I look at the projects that are building on top of that technology and I say, which ones are making it better? Which ones are making it easier for users? Which ones have team members that have been there for a long time? Which ones have founders who have been building nonstop and they've been around for a long time? They've been
Yeah.
through bear and bull multiple cycles and they're still doing it. That's how I choose my sports teams. Oh, I mean, crypto projects.
I love that. That's such a good answer. And I have a really crypto example to this as well on you know how I chose. Well, I'm all of us are bullish on Ethereum, but there was this period um in our lives last year when one of the lead researchers of Ethereum, Dankrad, he decided to go off to Tempo. I don't
Yeah,
think it made any of us less bullish on Ethereum in any way. We just were quite inquisitive and excited to see what Tempo's cooking right there, right?
yeah,
Um, all of us are still building on Ethereum, contributing to Ethereum. We are across a kind of unifying Ethereum as well, along with other chains now.
yeah,
So I think you're absolutely right. One of our star players went off to a different team,
yeah,
but that didn't mean that our values and things that made us align with this team and follow this team and love this team for so long left
yeah.
at all.
Well, I want to push on that a little bit, Kanish. Do you remember some of the backlash?
I do remember the backlash. I saw
Yeah,
threads and tweets and stuff like that.
yeah,
Um, but then again, people did talk about how this is bad for Ethereum that the lead researcher is leaving, but none of
yeah,
the other researchers ever stepped down. If anything,
yeah,
the EF has made
yeah,
sure that everything that the Ethereum Foundation should do is happening in real life.
yeah,
Because I see them talking to each other, talking to founders, talking to builders all the time. Wasn't this one of the core
yeah,
philosophies?
yeah,
And protocol engineers are all out there still. So sure, the star player, the Messi of your Argentina team left, sure.
yeah,
But
yeah,
doesn't that mean other players kind of stepped up, gave them space to shine? You
yeah,
know?
yeah. And I think if you're really believing in the true ethos of decentralization, it can't be about a single individual or a single contributor or a single project, right?
Yeah.
Like we at if we look at sports as the example, if you are leaving the team that you loved because the player is leaving, did
Mm.
you actually love that team or did you just love the player?
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's maybe a good example here. And we've seen it. It's not just that example. I think Austin Federa, when he left Solana Foundation, a
Yeah.
lot of people were like, "This is the end of Solana." Austin was the face of the foundation for so long,
Yeah.
and now he's off, doing 00 and doing a lot of incredible work. Shout out to them and their team.
Hmm.
But him leaving Solana Foundation was not the end of Solana. Solana is
Exactly.
still alive, it's still thriving. In fact, I think Solana has seen some of the biggest moments in its existence in the
Yeah.
post Austin Federa eras.
Yeah.
And that doesn't actually make Austin any less of a contributor to the blockchain ecosystem. In fact, I would argue it makes him a bigger contributor because he made such an impact in the original place where he was, and now he's making a new type of impact through 00. That is, I think, a healthy way that you and I can sit and look at this.
Yeah.
But I'm not so disillusioned to think that most people look at this that way. I think most people they're just looking for the buy and sell signals. They're saying Austin left, sell my Solana. They're saying, I don't know, if Vitalik were to say, I'm retiring and someone else is taking my place, people would
Hmm.
look at that and say, I'm selling my Ethereum. Well, that
Yeah.
means you didn't believe in the technology in the first place because it's not
Mm.
about Vitalik. It never has been. And Vitalik would say the same thing. It's not about an individual. It's decentralized. Like literally just break down the word. It means it's not about a single entity. It's about all the
Exactly.
contributors. And so going back, I want to bring it back full circle here.
Hmm.
What Kaido did, and not just Kaido, but Kaido was certainly the impetus of this, is that
Yeah.
Kaido took what should have been a measurement of the health of a project and sold it for pennies.
Yeah.
They could have a $1 billion business, but instead now they have something I haven't looked at their token price lately. But now
Oh,
instead they have something that is dying and it
yeah.
will flounder. They will struggle for the next. My prediction is you've got 18 months before we hear an announcement that says we're shutting down.
Hmm.
And it's a bummer because they did have something pretty good and
Yeah.
they sold it. They sold it for something very cheap, very cheap.
I agree. I agree. And thank you for walking us back to what Kaido started as, because that is not just a crypto thing. Every company in the world could have used it. And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure most of them were doing it till
yeah,
they saw, oh, wait, what is YAPS? What is this Kaido token? We don't want to be a
yeah.
part of any of this. We'll respectfully walk out now.
We were
And
paying, I forget their monthly fee. I think it was close to $1,000 a month per
wow.
user. We
Wow.
were paying it because the value that it brought was worth that.
Yeah.
And we stopped almost immediately after Yaps. Not too far after Yaps, we canceled our
Hmm.
account because what good is measuring mindshare when mindshare is manipulated? It's not true mindshare; it's fake mindshare, and
True.
that's not worth $10 a month.
True. And it's like what I would hate is that somebody who loves a cross, who's talking about a cross, who's on my timeline, uh, bull posting more than we do, I'd be like, oh my God, that's such a good person. I want to be friends with them. I want to, get them a goodie bag or something. And then a week later, oh, now they're bull posting another project. I just
Yeah,
be like, wow, so you're just a sellout, huh? Cool,
yeah.
cool, have fun.
If
Um,
you have a friend who tells you you need to go buy these boots, these boots are the best
mhm,
boots I've ever worn in my life, you're gonna believe that friend. But if you find out that that friend got a $10 coupon for telling you that, now you're going to question, did you just do that for $10 or were these really the best boots you've ever owned? And that question is enough to, over time, completely dissolve any integrity that your brand has. And
true,
that sucks.
true. And so now that we know Kaido's not there, and honestly, we as a team didn't really use it for the Yaps thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm so happy and so proud of that. God bless all of us.
Yeah.
Um, But on the same note now, how would you propose, or how do we plan on an ambassador program, a UGC campaign, or just get people bullish? How do we get the vibes a good meter back on track? And where
Mhm.
does this data now possibly can this data come from?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the thread that I want to pull more on towards this part of the stream now.
It's a good question. I will keep a few things close to my chest because I think it will
Mhm.
influence the way that our marketing strategy evolves, and I don't want to give away our secret sauce.
Absolutely. Yes,
Um,
sir.
but I think maybe for those who are marketers who are listening to this conversation, the thing that I would say is if the thing that led to Kaido's demise, other than Nikita pulling the API access, but
Yeah.
like I think they were already on the track of they would have not been around for much longer.
Hmm.
If the thing that led to their demise was that they incentivized inorganic posting about a
Yeah.
project, then you as a marketing leader should ask yourself the question, why are you incentivizing inorganic content? That is the thing that killed Kaido and would
Hmm.
have killed it if Nikita didn't pull the plug first. If that's true, then incentivizing inorganic content for your brand will have the same outcome. And so we struggle with this tension that we live in where everyone wants to pay a KOL to post about their project, to get the attention, to get people to use it. I do think there is still some merit there. You have to
Hmm.
find exactly the right KOLs. You need to find the exact right ambassadors. If you're going to pay ambassadors to post, make sure that those ambassadors have been users already. If they haven't been users, they're just there for the money. Um, our ambassador program that we ran most recently, we pulled people from our community, small accounts,
Hmm.
but they're users. They know our product. In fact, they contribute to our product. They've given us product feedback. We've changed things because of their feedback. And so, if anything, we're just thanking them by
Yeah.
giving them a little kickback and saying, we see what you're doing. We see that you're active. Um, I think that's the order of things. Find your real users, the ones who love your product. Maybe they don't ever talk about it. In the same
Yeah.
way that I love the socks I'm wearing, but I'll never tell you what brand they are.
Hmm.
It's just my product. It's what I like. I'm wearing them. But but if I love them to the point where I am talking about them,
Yeah.
those are the people that we should bring into the fold and say, hey,
Yeah.
keep doing that. And if you keep doing that, like we want to say thank you. We want to give you something. I think
Right.
the days of hiring KOLs, I think and I hope it's on its way out.
Yeah. It's gonna follow the same trend that we saw with these micro influencers that Kaito sort of pumped up, which is that today you're talking about this, tomorrow you'll talk about that. So in the short term, sure, I'll short the token. I'll sell all of whatever I have. But in the long
Yeah,
run, will I be bullish? Not really.
yeah,
And I think it also makes sense that as you're building in crypto or just building in general,
yeah,
the core of your business is always going to be the user of your business. Incentivize the user, incentivize them talking about your product more, but first
yeah,
get your user. So finding PMF in that sense is also very important, which I know a lot of chains and products struggle with in general, just
yeah,
getting users organically. And that's
yeah,
also because this goes back to the first answer that you gave here, which was that um, if this solves a problem for me, and if it is something I like, and if it's a good product, that's literally where I draw my line, and I'll use it and I'll talk about it. Um,
I will forever believe Kanish and his review of Five Guys far
yes.
more than I would believe a celebrity that they hire to talk about Five Guys.
See, see, this is because I talk about Five Guys from the bottom of my heart. They've done
I know.
God's work.
I know. There's not a week that you don't talk about it. You love Five Guys.
Exactly.
And because I know that that's real and that's authentic, I am likely to believe in that experience of Five Guys. But
Right.
if you're, I don't know, Brad Pitt and you've been paid $10 million to do a commercial
Yeah.
about Five Guys, I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe he likes it, maybe not. Do I think he's a regular customer of Five Guys? No, I doubt it. And even if he is, I'm still not going to believe it because he's been paid to talk about it. It's
Exactly.
much better to find the users that you actually solve problems for because
Yeah.
they will be your best and most authentic evangelists.
True. Although I will say that if they get Brad Pitt to make a commercial for Five Guys, obviously I'll not believe whatever they're saying. But what I will look for is, as a marketer, as somebody who works a little bit in video content creation, is that did they do anything fun in this particular
Yeah,
video? Can
yeah,
I pull
yeah,
something out of it, put it into my videos or something?
yeah.
Because one thing that I really liked about, say, have you seen those chicken wings? What are they called? Hot.
Hot
They eat
ones.
spicy. Hot wings,
Yeah,
yes.
hot ones. Yeah,
Um, so that's one thing where I would believe what they are talking about when they say the chili level of the sauce or how
yeah,
spicy it is,
yeah, yeah,
because that's their whole thing, and they never pivoted out. They never took a cheap exit,
yeah,
and they stuck to it. So I think sticking to what you believe will drive PMF for you and what you think will your users will
mm,
like is also very important, which is kind of a message for teams out here who are like jumping from one thing to the other. It
yeah.
doesn't work. It doesn't work. Um,
No. In fact, if anything, it if you have any trust built up and you show that you're wavering, it means that you don't trust it. And so
yeah,
why would your users trust it if you don't trust it? You keep going back and forth. And I won't say any project names out loud, but like there are a few who are still building in this space, some good friends that I know. I
yeah,
believe in them, but I worry that their product roadmap is it's so in
I know.
flux that
Yeah,
I'm asking the question, do you believe in what you're building? Like you're asking them to believe in what you're building, but do you
yeah,
believe in what you're building? Um, but that's also the startup life. Like sometimes finding product market fit isn't you're not going to hit it the first time, and so
exactly.
there's some validity I think to pivoting.
Absolutely. No, yeah, absolutely. The job, I feel the job of a startup is to pivot till you find PMF. But the second you even get a hint of it, you drill down on that path as much as you can.
Yeah,
Um, what I don't like is when the founder is not even it, giving the startup their everything in an attempt to find this PMF. And if
yeah,
I remember towards Kaido, it was just like, hey, so yeah, we're just gonna launch a campaign and then people will talk about us and then we launch a token. And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
wait, but what do you do? He's like, don't worry about it. We're just like a lending protocol. And I'm like,
yeah,
do you know what lending protocols can do? Have you looked at Aave? I mean,
yeah,
that should be the gold standard for you. Um,
yeah.
yeah, people never
It's
got even
good.
close.
It's good. Kanish, I know we're wrapping up here, and
Mhm.
I think you asked the question earlier,
Yeah,
how do I pick the projects that I believe in, the ones that
yeah,
I put my time and energy and money into? Um,
yeah,
and I just want to reiterate this point because I think it's maybe the point if you're listening right now and maybe you're multitasking, maybe you're doing some other things, like stop and listen for just 1 second because this is the takeaway. Pick projects that you see are actually making an impact. Find the products that are actually making it easier to use crypto and to use the blockchain and to move your money if you're thinking about a cross. It's a plug, but it's also not. It doesn't have to be a cross. There's plenty of projects that are actually adding real value. Um, that's where you should put your time and energy. That's who you should be posting about, not because you might get $100 from a Kaido airdrop or some sort of incentive, but because they're actually making a difference and you want other people to know that they're making that difference. And if you don't have a community like that, if you don't have a project like that, come hang out with us at Across because we are solving some real tangible problems and working on making the whole on-chain experience easier for the end user. and we'd love to have you.
And I'll do a small plug here, and I'll just say that we will help you find other projects that you can be passionate about, because we work with over 300 of them, and
Yeah.
we make sure that we at least look at their protocols before we say yes.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
like it.
one layer of filtering that we can do for you.
Not
But
financial advice. Do your own research. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
yeah, but come out and be friends with us. We're good friends, that I can promise.
Yeah.
I'll take you
Yeah.
to Five Guys, guys. Come on, I'll take you to Five Guys. Everybody here. But jokes aside, James, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a pleasure. And we've gotten such good response in the comments already. There are people talking
Yeah.
about early days NFTs, early days content. And Benny's also inviting people to join our community. So yes, if you're listening and you want to be a part of the community, just check out our bio. You can go to my bio, James's bio, or the Across Handles bio, and you'll find all the right information right there. And with this, we come to the end of this episode of Crosschain with Kanishk. Thank you so much, James, for joining. This was amazing. And we'll see you all next week with more fun stuff happening.
Thank you, Kanish. Talk
Thank you.
soon.
Absolutely. Bye-bye, everyone.